Hello. Hey everybody. It's Z here and I'm just gonna hang out a bit and do my daily sketching. So yeah, if you're watching, feel free to say hi. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the chat. So today's idea is I want to do something a bit more interesting with these daily thingies I've been doing. So this is one of my relax, smile, draw sketches from this month. I just have this funny. I could maybe link them all up into one giant image of some kind. So I'll just start off where this one leaves off, and I'll see if I can extend it into just something else. It could be something related to this, maybe, or it could just be something totally different that has only a transition in common with the existing sketch. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And this time I'll keep an eye out on the chat, because in the past I've had situations where people were messaging me and I just didn't notice until it was way too late to reply. But yeah, this is all very new to me, the streaming thing, so I suppose I'm learning as we go along. This could be some mountains with trees and things on top. Could be. Maybe a sunset in the back. Or maybe a desert. I'm not sure yet. It should reveal itself soon enough. Yeah, this might work. Or it might not work. It's always a little bit exciting because I really avoid thinking about this daily sketch as a serious thing. So I try not to premeditate what it is going to be. That way, it's going to be more surprising when I sit down to sketch, because I really don't have any clue what might happen. And some of the daily sketches I've been doing are really some of my favorite works. I had the most amount of fun doing them because I think of the fact that they're a surprise to me, and that's really nice, because a lot of the day, if you are like a freelancer like me, or maybe if you're an art student, you kind of have, most of the time you have to do things that are very predictable, or more or less predictable, because that's part of your job, or is part of your studies. And it's maybe just generally how people like to do things. To know that if they spend time and effort in something, that they can be assured of a nice result or something like that, so that it's not a waste of time. That's something I hear about a lot, but I don't do that, or at least I find some time every day when I don't do that, just because it leaves no room for surprises anymore. You don't get to do things that are too unpredictable. And if I know what I'm going to do, more or less, then kind of kills a lot of, it gets rid of a lot of the room for being creative. Because the way I think of creativity is, it's the ability to do things that you don't do. If you do something that you didn't know that you were going to do, then that's really creative, right? Because you're making something completely new, at least to you. So, and for somebody who likes new things, who likes different things, who likes imagining and creating things, especially if it's something fantastic or novel, then the best thing that I can do is something that I don't know that I could do before. So that kind of excludes everything that I could plan, everything that it's based on too closely on something else. Like if I was doing a fan art or something. And there's nothing, that's not this, it's not a criticism of fan art. There's a time and place for that too. But this is just my way of getting to experience more a more unpredictable kind of drawing and painting. And because I'm having to react to in real time to something that's unpredictable, then it's a really good exercise on how to work with the present situation. Yeah, so it's, even though it is, it's all based on having fun and being loosening up. Yeah, the skill set that comes from doing things like this, and it's not just like an artistic skill set. It's kind of, I think of it as using art as just a tool to train a general mindset, and that is that unpredictable things are going to happen, and like in terms of this painting, I could run into a thing where, okay, I feel like painting some kind of rock formation or something that I haven't painted before, so I don't know exactly how to do it. And that kind of situation can happen at any point in your life, in your daily life, work, whether it's work related or personal life or whatever. So doing things like this is helping me to train my mind to be able to react to new situations and adapt to it, and just figure out a way to get through it without being stressed out about the result. Because I find that being stressed about an unpredictable situation, being afraid of something might happen that's outside of your expectation, outside of your control, that's kind of a sure way to make you perform badly at dealing with that situation, because you're already being influenced by fear and hesitation and things like that. And doing this, I mean, it's sketching, but it's also kind of a mental development where my attention is not really on the drawing or painting at all. This is more like a meditation than an artistic enterprise. So my attention is mostly on how to be relaxed and how to be flexible as I deal with an unforeseen situation. And in this case, the situation is just trying to paint something that I don't really know how to paint, not per se, and just kind of trusting my instincts and any previous experience to just deal with it the best I can. I think it's quite helpful for my commissions. So I've been doing this for I started maybe New Year or something this year, so it's been few, three months or so, more or less. And I'm already noticing that when it comes to other aspects of my work, freelancing and doing client work, I'm a lot faster at solving problems that come up in those jobs as a result of doing this daily sketching. Because I'm just more resilient to stress. Yeah, I noticed that although even though stress can be a kind of a motivator that gets you into action, if you are maybe lethargic or stagnant, it can also be really a hindrance. It can really kind of incapacitate a person from a situation. Like, for example, taking feedback. That's something that I'm sure every professional artist deals with very often. And they're not the only ones, but this is a very common example of where this kind of not being kind of unbalanced by a situation can be a great help in your success, because you're getting there's a lot of times where I send off something and I'm into it. I like what I did, and I think it's nice. I put in my best effort, and I'm maybe hoping or expecting that the client will like it as much as I do. But sometimes they just don't. Sometimes client has a completely different idea about what is good or what is appropriate for the project. So you put in all this effort and time, and you're thinking like, oh, this is my best work. Oh, they're gonna love it. And then it'll be approved, and I'll get my paycheck. Everything will be good. And then you get like a 2-page feedback that says, it's nice and all, but please change this, and this. And yeah, you can imagine that same kind of scenario playing out, not just with a client, but maybe with your professor at school, for your paper, your thesis, for example. Or it could be just something you made for a friend or a loved one or whatever. People can, when we're talking about unpredictable situations, people are the most unpredictable element in our lives. So, and the way they react to things can really affect us if you don't have kind of this kind of mental development on how to remain one is calm and balanced when a situation occurs that you don't foresee. So doing this helps my everyday life. I just see it all kind of, I see the underlying unity in all the situations, and the unity is basically how we react to things we don't see coming, how we react to things that are outside of our expectation. So the way this helps is I'm doing the drawing and painting. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. And then something presents itself. And if it's not something that I'm used to, or it's not something that I consider by my usual standards to be nice or aesthetic or pretty or whatever it is, it's outside of my expectation. So the natural tendency is to kind of get tense, going to have this mental tension come up and to start struggling with what is before me, what is right in front of me, which is, there's this thing. It's not what you're used to. Maybe it's not pretty. Maybe it's not good or correct. And I'm really paying close attention to how I don't like that situation, how it makes me tense and nervous, or any could be any number of maybe unpleasant feelings or reactions. And when that happens, I just do the practice of relaxing, because the way the body is, the state of the body affects the state of the mind. So when my mind starts to get tense because I don't like what's happening, I'm not sure how to deal with it, it's new, it's unpredictable, it's maybe a little bit scary or difficult, then it tends to, that tension is stopping me from being open to the situation. That tension is my mind's way of saying, I don't like this, I don't know what's happening, I don't understand, I'm not in control, and all those things. So I have to learn how to relax the body. There's tension in the head, in the spine, in the neck. It's all associated with the mind being tense. And when I do that, because the mind affects the body as much as the body affects the mind, this relaxing calms the mind down a bit, so it's not actively struggling and rejecting what's happening. Then when I have that going on, I'm not actively disliking what I'm doing at the moment, what's happening. Then I can smile. That's a way of just keeping the mental energy uplifted. When the mind is uplifted, it's just much more efficient and kind of capable. Your mind is uplifted and positive and open, is fully engaged in the situation, in the present. And if it's engaged, then everything that I know it has a higher chance of being put to use, of being used to solve a problem, to solve a situation. And so that emotional energy that would have been just spent on struggling and disliking a situation gets instead put on problem solving. And that gives me the best chance at dealing with whatever the situation is. So I do that when I'm drawing. I'm not thinking about what the thing is at all. I don't really care what the drawing or the painting is. It's just an opportunity for me to observe what is my mind doing. How does this tendency to get nervous or upset or afraid or judgmental about itself, how that feels like when it happens. And the more familiar I get with that, how it happens, how it feels like, how this tension in my head and shoulder and neck feels like. And the better I get at reversing that process when it starts to happen, when I notice that it's happening. And so for me, that is the most important thing to pay attention to when doing art. And actually probably a lot of daily activities. Just because I've been doing this for a while, and I'm noticing how much this kind of mental tendency to struggle, how much it affects a person's health and mindset. Like mental health and physical health, they're both kind of very closely tied to basically the way that the mind is, what kind of tendencies and habits it's built up in someone's mind. That determines how much stress that they're constantly or semi-constantly under. Yeah, there's nothing special about drawing or painting when it comes to observing mental activity like this or mindset. You can, in theory, observe how your mind is acting, how it is in any situation, if you have the practice for it. Now, this drawing is it happens to be a good stage for doing that, just because I'm quite used to drawing. I've been doing it for many years, and I'm able to keep moving my hands without actually actively being so concerned with the content of what I'm doing. So it's a bit like how most people, when they do some kind of meditation or mental training, they do it sitting down or just walking in a straight line. Usually they don't do it while doing some kind of complicated motions, because it's easier to observe how your mind is reacting to things in the beginning anyway, when you're just doing a simple repetitive activity. So for me, that's drawing is in that category. So I'm able to draw and paint and use it as an opportunity to observe my mind. And I do it also in a lot of other things, like doing dishes or cooking or tidying up around the flat, or I'm going to the grocery store, taking out the trash, all this kind of stuff. It's possible to do this kind of mental observation during all those things. The benefit of doing it while drawing is you get to create all kinds of interesting images. I've been looking at the things I'm drawing and painting for the these last few months, and a lot of it is things I would never have on purpose drawn or painted. It just doesn't really fit into my daily routine. Doesn't fit into most of my client commissions, and a lot of stuff I really don't know where it comes from. So it's very interesting to see, what kind of things is sort of lurking in my mind, I guess, in a way, because it's all in here somewhere. If I've ever seen or heard anything at all, then it leaves kind of a trace somewhere. And in theory, if I know how to do it, I should be able to recall any of those traces and express them visually, sort of like drawing from the unconscious. And because the unconscious mind kind of behaves very well, is by definition not known to us most of the time, especially when we're very engaged in our normal mindset, which is this kind of problem solving, logical, rational, quote unquote. In this normal daily everyday state, we don't really get to experience our unconscious mind, and we don't really know so well what's in there. So as an artist, it's very interesting to dig, to do a bit of excavation, to see what is down there and see how they translate into images, how they influence my art process. Yeah, I think it's the most fun you can do. I like to say that every piece of art is in some way or other self-portrait. And that's especially true the more unconscious the drawing is. Perhaps maybe the most accurate revealing self-portrait of an artist would be if you could somehow put them in a trance, in a hypnotic state, and give them a pen or brush and just let them have at a canvas for a while. I figured that would be a really accurate, like perhaps the most accurate way to see an artist's self-portrait, to see what their inner landscape is like. Another aspect of doing this kind of, I like to call it a game. This is kind of a mind game that a person plays with themselves. This relax, smile, draw is basically for me that a kind of a mind game. It's not serious, but it has some serious benefits, and one of them to me is that I don't have to finish anything. And sometimes I do. Almost every other day or so, I can actually finish a sketch that I started, and it'll like resemble some kind of complete scene or semi-complete scene or character design or whatever. But on some days, it just doesn't work out. There's just some days where my mind is very noisy or maybe distracted by something, and just a bunch of gibberish comes out, and I don't even maybe know what the deal is. What is the reason or the cause that on that particular day nothing very interesting or good happened. And that is really also kind of a um, successful day for me when that happens. Because I'll do the same thing. I'll relax. I'll see that result is not conclusive, it's not finished, it's maybe not proper or nice, but I'll just relax about it. You know, I mean, not kind of like wishy-washy, relax, so forget it. But I really like do it as an exercise, right? Physically relax my head and put on a smile and just sit there and look at it and kind of accept and say, this is what happened today, and it's totally fine. And that is really, for me, a very beneficial and maybe necessary component of doing anything dedicatedly, like doing art every day, because everyone's going to have those days. And I've seen this happen a lot, which is that some people can really be unbalanced or upset with those bad days where they really just go, I can't kind of stand or accept the fact that the result of their effort wasn't good or wasn't good enough. You can get quite stressed or depressed about that, to the point where maybe somebody might just give up for a while and go like, I can't do this anymore. I just want to go play games or something to distract myself.